Hello and welcome to our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. I'm Dr. Diane Kelly, proud superintendent of the Revere Public Schools, one of the best and most diverse school districts in the state of Massachusetts. At Revere Public Schools, we pride ourselves in our diversity, equity, and inclusion work. And Hispanic Heritage Month is one of several cultural celebrations we will highlight this school year and every school year. With over 7,000 students, more than 60% of whom are Hispanic, our district is a reflection of our beautiful city where residents of all backgrounds work toward making Revere a great place to live, work, and attend school. Our Hispanic population, both in our schools and in our city, is the foundation of Revere's evolving story of newcomers inspired by the American dream. This month, we give our Hispanic students, staff, and caregivers extra recognition for the many contributions they make every day to the history, future, and culture of Revere in the United States. So please sit back and enjoy the show. Gracias.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Lorenzo Garcia, Assistant Superintendent of Revere Public Schools. I'll be the moderator for this round table discussion. This year's Hispanic Heritage Month theme, Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together, recognize the contributions of Hispanic people who paved the way for future generations, the spirit of innovation, resilience, and unity that define the Hispanic experience. With this roundtable discussion, we aim to establish a mutual understanding of the cultural heritage of Hispanic, Latino, and Latinx individuals, explore how these experiences influence their social identity and formation and affirmation in an increasingly diverse and changing world. In addition, it aims to foster network support and a feeling of inclusion and confront the prevalent stereotypes and biases related to Hispanic and Latin and Latinx individuals. But before I start this conversation, I'd like to begin to introduce the distinguished guests who came from a variety of backgrounds. They are politicians, they are our community leaders, they are our teachers, and they are our students. I'd like to give them a voice in the process by allowing them to introduce themselves.
Buenas tardes con todos. Mi nombre es Liana Jorge Matute, soy fundadora y presidenta del Concilio Latino de Massachusetts, Inc. My name is Liana Jorge Matute. I am from Peru, and I'm the founder and president for Concilio Latino de Massachusetts. Thank you.
I'll follow your lead. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Jacqueline Monterroso, yo soy la vicepresidenta del Comité Escolar en Revere, la primera latina elegida, y también soy la directora de Política y Abogacía para Latinos for Education. So my name is Jacqueline Monterroso, I'm the vice chair of the Revere School Committee, and I'm also the director of Policy and Advocacy at Latinos for Education.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Claudia Correa, yo soy la jefe de personal de la alcaldía de Revere y también soy la orgullosa madre de todos pequeñines que van a las escuelas de Revere. Hello everyone, my name is Claudia Correa, I'm the chief of staff for the city of Revere, and I'm also the proud mom of two little ones who actually come to Revere Public Schools.
Hey everyone, my name is Riaz Garcia. I am a graduate of the Revere High School class of 2018. I was born and raised here in Revere, and today I work as an investment associate at an investment management firm in Boston called Cambridge Associates.
Hola a todos, yo me llamo Stephanie Rodríguez, yo soy la coordinadora de la familia de la comunidad de las escuelas públicas de Revere. También soy la tesorera del non-profit, bueno, estoy hablando Spanglish, de el Concilio Latino de Massachusetts, Inc. Hello everybody, my name is Stephanie Rodriguez. I am the Family and Community Leadership Coordinator for Revere Public Schools, and I also am the treasurer of a nonprofit, El Concilio Latino de Massachusetts, Inc. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Yelia Figueroa, yo soy una estudiante en Revere High School. Hi everybody, my name is Julia Figueroa and I'm a student at Revere High School.
Buenas tardes, yo soy José Alemán, soy profesor de español aquí en Revere High School. Good afternoon, my name is José Alemán. I teach Spanish here at Revere High School.
So before we delve into some of the questions that we have for you this afternoon, I'd like to remind you about some community agreements. Those community agreements are important in the sense that they set the ground, they lay down the ground in terms of how we should behave throughout this entire discussion. So one of the things I'd like to remind everyone is that we all have our truths, but those truths need to be honest. And we need to give a voice. We need to respect their time. And we also need to make sure that our perspectives are heard and our voices are elevated, because that's one of the goals of this discussion, is to elevate the Hispanic or Latino voice in the community. Do we agree with those agreements?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Very good. I have a few questions for you that probably will certainly bring some excitement to this conversation. So we know that the Hispanic Heritage Month is one of the celebrations that is pretty big in the U.S., but also throughout many countries in the Latin American hemisphere, and also in the Hispanic community as well. So I have a few questions, and I'll start with the first question, which is this. Why do you think celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month is such an important event?
Bueno, yo podría hablar y Stephanie me podría traducir, lo voy a decir en español. Bueno, para nosotros es muy importante este mes de la hispanidad, porque ahí donde nosotros enseñamos nuestras culturas, nuestras raíces, de dónde somos nosotros, por ejemplo, nuestras vestiduras, nuestras comidas, nuestras costumbres que tenemos cada país de nosotros. Por eso es muy importante, y más en este país que nos ha recibido con mucho amor, y estamos aquí para seguir adelante, y eso es muy importante para nosotros, enseñar a este hermoso país nuestra cultura y nuestras raíces. Gracias.
So Liana was saying is that it's so important to show our culture, where we come from, our foods, what we wear. So Hispanic Heritage Month is a month that allows us to be able to show that, right, to everybody. And I think it's important to just show that we came from a country, right, and just be able to, we came to this country that accepted us with open arms, right, and that accepted us. And it's so important to feel valued, heard, and seen. So I'm so grateful for Dr. Garcia for also allowing us to have a platform to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, as someone who was born and raised here in the United States, I always take Hispanic Heritage Month as a reminder to reflect upon my own experiences growing up here, and really think about the sacrifices that, you know, people like my parents or ancestors made to get us here to where we are today, and to always be grateful for that. So
I think it's important to look back and see history. At one point, 1/5 of the current U.S. country was part of Spain and Mexico. So the heritage of the Spanish-speaking people, if you go to the west, to the southwest, is clear. States like Utah, California, Arizona, Nuevo Mexico, Colorado, speak highly of the footprint and the culture richness that Hispanics, Spanish-speaking people, immigrants, have given to this country.
In my everyday experience, one of the things that I always reflect upon as an immigrant, I'm not obviously from any of the Latin American countries, although I'm confused many times by people asking me if I am from República Dominicana, because obviously they see something in me that reminds them of that country. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I have Garcia, and people tend to assume that one day I can sit down with you, all of you, if you want to, and tell you where Garcia came from. It's an interesting story, but for another day. And now we're gonna take a break to go to Revere TV's kitchen.
Thank you. Now we are here representing Mexico with la dueña de la Oaxaqueña acá en Revere. So she is the owner of a Mexican store, but also a Mexican restaurant in Everett. And she's here to explain some of their beautiful, typical plates of their country. Acá estamos con
Felipa de la Oaxaqueña. Sí, gracias por este espacio y queremos presentarle este mes celebrando el mes de la herencia hispana en honor a nuestros ancestros que nos dejaron la herencia, que esto es lo que nos quedó. Este es el taco al pastor, es el taco conocido en toda la República Mexicana, es cocinado en el trompo con muchos condimentos que nuestros ancestros nos dejaron, desde el guajillo, diferentes tipos de chiles, el achiote y también el taco dorado. Es uno de los tacos más reconocidos en toda la República. Traemos las gorditas, que son de harina, es una tortilla que nosotros torteamos y lo hacemos de este tamaño. Adentro puede venir todo tipo de carnes, pollo, res, chicharrón, queso. Y ese es la tradicional garnacha, que es del estado de Oaxaca. Este platillo es solo del estado de Oaxaca.
Wow, okay, so garnacha. So this is a plate, tacos al pastor.
Sí.
Right? ¿Y qué lo hace diferente de otro taco? ¿Qué tiene adentro? What's the difference between this taco and another taco?
Sí, este taco es condimentado con muchas especies como guajillo,
okay.
Chiles, chile ancho, achiote,
chile ancho,
lleva el achiote, ajo, cebolla, sal. Y esto va colocado en un trompo. Entonces se coloca en ese trompo y el fuego le va dando lento, y de ahí se va cortando.
Se va cortando,
sí.
Okay. So I've seen, I don't know if you've seen in some Mexican restaurants, but they have
sí, el
it's
trompo.
like a tower,
Ese,
right? And a tower,
así
and
es.
they like slice off the meat.
Ese es un taco muy especial. En México al pastor es algo, sí.
Yeah, al pastor, perfect. And the gorditas, and inside you could do it with beef, chicken.
Sí. Queso para los veggies, sí.
Yeah, and chicharrón, which is fried pork belly. And this is el ají, it's a special sauce,
sí,
right?
Esa es la salsa picante, así es. Porque nosotros siempre tiene que tener ese toquecito picante. Así es.
Okay, y también acá con las garnachas tienes el repollo, ¿no?
Así es.
Okay,
así es.
So that would be cabbage. And what is inside the garnachas? Is it meat?
Es una carne, sí, es una carne que se
desmechada.
Lleva un proceso para ponerlo, porque tienes que ponerle sal por 2 días, después lavarlo, asegurarse que no esté muy salado, se hierve, se cose, luego se desmenuza. Todo es un proceso para esta carne.
So for that meat, it's a big process. You know, she's saying about 2 days. It's like you have to let it rest with salt, right? And then you cook it.
Lavarlo varias veces, 3, 4, 5 veces.
Okay, so you gotta wash it about 4 to 5 times. So it takes a little bit to make that.
Sí,
meat.
así es.
So it should be soft. So debería ser.
La tortilla es un poquito como crunchy, como tostadito,
crunchy.
sí.
Yeah.
Pero nosotros sí, es el único restaurante que lo tenemos acá en Massachusetts.
Bonito. Okay, so el único restaurante acá,
oaxaqueña.
Pero Oaxaca.
Sí, es de Oaxaca. Este plato típico es de Oaxaca, así es.
Perfecto. Y usted también me estaba comentando un poquito de las lenguas, ¿no? De los
idiomas.
idiomas.
Nosotros crecimos, mi papá es de raza zapoteca y mi mamá es de raza huave, lo cual estoy muy orgullosa de venir de esas dos razas, y crecimos desde niños oyendo las lenguas maternas de nuestra familia, de nuestros padres, y nos sentimos muy orgullosos de eso, sí.
Yeah, so she's so proud of the languages that she grew up, you know, her mother being,
zapoteco y huave.
Y huave.
Así es.
Perfecto, son 2 idiomas en uno, ¿no?
Así es.
Y sus abuelos solo hablaban
sí, hablaban.
So her grandparents only spoke these 2 languages, and you know, so she had to learn. So can you give us one word in that language?
Baduchapa, Sicaru.
Wow.
Sí, eso sería muchacha bonita.
Oh, so that means muchacha bonita, so pretty girl, right?
Sí,
that's nice.
Así
okay. Well, thank you so much for coming here to just show us a little bit of what your restaurant, La Oaxaqueña. La Oaxaqueña, allá en Everett.
362 Berry Street, en la ciudad de Everett, Massachusetts. Y estamos acá en la 701 Broadway, en la ciudad de Revere. Es una tienda de conveniencia, ahí los esperamos, de productos 100% mexicanos.
100% mexicanos, 100% authentic Mexican.
Así es.
Yes, you can find it there. Thank you so much, Felipa.
Thank you,
Muchas
thank you,
gracias
gracias.
for bringing inside your culture.
Gracias.
Wow, the food was excellent. That was an amazing experience. And now we're going to transition to the next question. So I have a second question for you, which is, I want one of you to describe your experience growing up as a Latino, Hispanic, or Latinx individual in the United States. How was that experience? Obviously, behind every immigrant, there's a history, right? There's an experience. So I'd like somebody, one of you or two of you to delve into that question and elaborate a little bit more.
I would describe my experience as, in one word, just complex, because I feel like, especially since I was born here, and my parents are immigrants, and they grew up raising me with this Hispanic culture, but then I grew up in a society that is more tailored to be favorable to just Americans. I feel like I grew up with this rich and beautiful culture that I would indulge in, and then when I would go out to school, it was almost like I wasn't sure how to act. And especially since I'm still in high school and I'm still like gaining my identity, still learning, I think that mostly through my middle school years, it was very like hard to find that sense of identity and figure out like, am I Hispanic, am I American? And then I like grew to learn that I can be both and there's nothing wrong.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
I think I'll build off of that because that's also been my life, and it wasn't really until I graduated high school and I graduated college where it was like I embraced my complexities, because growing up I wasn't Mexican enough because I was born here, so I had an accent that my cousins in Mexico didn't have, but I also wasn't American to my white peers because I didn't look like them or because I had braids and I had dark hair and brown eyes. And so I didn't grow up in Revere, and so it was very hard. Like I grew up in a very small town where we were kicked out of restaurants, right? Where like people at Macy's would refuse to sell things to my dad if he came from work because he was fully dirty, because he worked at a factory. I had guidance counselors who were like, you're only going to speak English if you're going to walk into my office. And so I grew up it was very hard to grow up here in America, even though I am a first generation American. But what I'm so thankful for is that I had parents who always reminded me I belonged to both worlds. It wasn't just one or the other. So like my parents made the sacrifice of not learning English when I was in elementary school so that we could only speak Spanish at home. There was no English. And so I know other families don't have that opportunity, right? They really need to assimilate to feel safe and to survive in this country, and sometimes that's not a choice. So for me, it was feeling really lucky to know that I had my parents who appreciated my culture so I could have both worlds, and I know what it's like to like go and like to a baseball game with my friends, but also know how to like go to a quinceañera and have a zapateado and like dance all night and like just embrace both cultures. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't have the privilege to have.
Thank you. Anybody wants to elaborate a little bit more on that, or?
Well, my experience when I first arrived to the States about 24 years ago, I arrived to East Boston, a very culturally rich neighborhood. And I can say that is what has made me today who I am. I'm someone who adapts easily, who always welcomes change, always willing to learn and teach others. It was just really beautiful to come and not just learn from the North American culture, but the entire cultures that surround the Americas, to learn what it's a pupusa. I mean, for me that was beautiful, and it's still beautiful. I know that there is not just the arepa around the world. No, there is actually something else, tortillas, pupusas, you name it. So I've been fortunate enough to be exposed to this multicultural world around East Boston, Revere, Chelsea. So I wasn't born here, like I said, but I've been very, very fortunate to have come to this part of the States. Yeah.
I think one of the things that does characterize our lives and our experiences as immigrants is the fact that in addition to one language, to a culture, to your own cultural identity that you have, we have this ability to add, to keep adding to our experience, learning a second language, learning a third language, etc., etc. That's an enrichment itself. So I think I feel, very fortunate the fact that when you live in different countries and the languages, and the experience you are exposed to, and the ability to acquire those languages and the lifestyles of that particular country is beautiful. It's an enrichment. As Julia just said, I feel both. I identify with both countries, both cultures. That's a wonderful thing to say. Now we're gonna make a transition again to Revere TV to see what's cooking there.
Hola, regresamos. We are back now. We are here con comida del Pollo Royal, 529 Broadway here in Revere. They also have it in Everett and Lynn and Framingham, but we're gonna go into a little bit more details. This is el combo royal. So it's the combo with rotisserie chicken, fried chicken, royal rice. This rice is like a fried shrimp fried rice. It's amazing. The taste, it has egg, it has shrimp, it has rice, but it also has onions and it has mixed vegetables. Amazing. We also have the sauce to go with. This is ají. It's picante. It's a little like spicy, not too much, just perfect. Also, los tacos dorados, and this is like a crunchy taco, like a taquito. Amazing. So this is from Pollo Royal. Thank you so much for being able to donate this for us to show. This is also repollo, which is basically cabbage. So este es el combo, otra vez, royal del Pollo Royal. Muchas gracias. Acá tenemos de chocolate, ahí localizado en el 7D Han Street in Revere, so 17 Han Street in Revere. This is a plate just of little appetizers. Es la empanada de pollo, pero también empanada de carne desmechada. So the meat is shredded meat, not ground beef. So that's the difference. And this is a papa rellena, and inside it is filled with meat as well. And these are little empanadas, but they're vegetarian. So it's made out of yuca, which is another type of, and vegetables as well. So another type of fried, oh my God, let me start. So now this is an empanada. We have it with meat, but this is a vegetarian style. So it is with yuca and mixed vegetables inside. And also you can never forget la salsa rosada, which is the pink sauce. It is mixed mayo and ketchup mixed. It's super popular in all of these little appetizers. And this is from Chocolafé. And they also gave us a little bit of dessert. So Milo, this is something that they have in their country in Colombia that they use a lot. It's basically chocolate. It's so good. It's a mousse, and this is also their cheesecake, but it's made out of passion fruit. So it's a passion fruit cheesecake. Es hecho de maracuyá. Es una torta de queso, y acá es un poquito de Milo. Y esto es un poquito de enseñar de este restaurante. Es riquísimo si quieren probar, igual como nuestro pollo royal. Y acá vamos a venir a Rincón Limeño, acá en Revere, localizado ahí al frente de City Hall. Y esto es un lomo saltado, algo de donde yo soy, Perú, lindo Perú, y acompañado con su Inca Cola. So this is something very traditional for us. Our Inca Cola is our soda, carbonated soda from Peru. And this is a famous plate from Peru that anyone that knows a Peruvian restaurant, lomo saltado, is the go-to. It is a steak stir fry, and it is mixed with a little bit of hit of soy sauce, so it gives it that Asian fusion. In Peru, we have a lot of foods that are mixed with chifa and Chinese culture. And yeah, so this is un plato de Rincón Limeño. So please go visit all of our beautiful sponsors today. Thank you so much for helping us do this video and just show a little bit of culture of Revere. Thank you so much.
That's another great example of the diversity of food in the Latino Hispanic community. Now we're gonna go to our next question. My next question is, what impact have stereotypes had on your experience growing up in the United States?
It's like you want us to cry. Maybe this will be healing. I guess I think for me, the stereotypes are, it's not just that I'm Latina, I'm also a woman, I'm also young, right? So like I am a director at a nonprofit in my 20s, and I go into the state house and I have meetings with legislators, and they oftentimes think I'm the aide to my aide, and I'm just like, no, honey, like the meeting's with me. And so it's like the fact that they automatically, the stereotypes are like I'm not there to be their equal, or also that I'm a woman or that I'm young. And so as an elected official, also the way other elected officials talk to me, they don't speak to other people their age that way, right? Like, so I think in my own leadership role, I see how it's the fact that I'm a woman and that I'm young that's big. But growing up, being a Latina in a school where, you know, I never had a teacher who looked like me or who spoke my language, it was, you know, like college wasn't supposed to be a thing for us. Like I still remember I had a science teacher who told me that like kids like me belonged in the fields, like we didn't belong in school. And so when those are our teachers for our kids, and when they're furthering those stereotypes, like I wasn't going to go to college until I had one guidance counselor who helped me apply to a scholarship that got me full ride. And so it's just, the stereotypes our students really, and even as adults, like we really just embody them forever, right? Like there's so many things like I really think my dad and my mom could do. Like I think all my leadership skills really come from my father, but because he doesn't know the language or he's really internalized his world in this country, there's only so much that they've let themselves do, right? So like they're always so scared, like, ay, Jackie, no hagas eso, like, Jackie, no hables contra esta gente, like, don't advocate, like, just stay quiet, calladita te ves más bonita, because of the stereotypes. I'm like, man, you sacrificed so I wouldn't be quiet.
Yes.
So I think it's, we internalize it and our families internalize it, and sometimes it stops us from doing all that we truly are made to do and to be.
Right.
I love it.
Right. That's well said. How would you combat that?
But just staying true to yourself and just utilizing your voice. There's so many, you know, growing up, my mother is here in this round table talk, Liana, and it's beautiful I came from an activist, an advocate for our community. So you tend to mirror that. You know, my mom always says, el que no arriesga no gana. The person who doesn't take a risk doesn't win. And I live by that. And like you said, sometimes we do say, calladita te ves más bonita. And I say that sometimes, even to myself, internalizing. It's like that background music. And it's like we have to change the disc and literally have to reprogram ourselves as Latinas and growing up here in the, you know, Latino, Latinx. And yeah, growing up as a Revere Public School student, Revere High School graduate 2011. Dr. Garcia being my principal and graduating year. So,
There's another student,
you know,
right there.
Yeah, and another student here,
Amazing.
and a student currently, and now me, now working underneath Dr. Garcia, and then also having a lot of my old teachers as my coworkers now. So it's like I'll always be seen as like the kid, and I'm not. I am now a mother of 5, and I have 3 children in the district. So yeah, so it starts like, wow, it's like a full circle type of moment in this round table conversation. But yeah, it's amazing. I grew up in Revere, graduated Revere, still stayed in living currently in Revere, and I love this city, and I believe that, you know, I had a good upbringing. In being immersed in so many different cultures. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be all together here. And there's so much power in this room. There's so much voices, especially with a student, current student, past students, people who work in the city, people who advocate for us, people who teach, you know, so much knowledge, people that raise children like me. So it's
Julia,
beautiful.
you are a member of the Equity Advisory Board. How would you advocate for something like this? I mean, for, you know, in the sense that we should, you know, work together to make sure that we eradicate, get rid of this type of, you know, stereotypes, discrimination, and practice that really put us down as many, you know, immigrants and things like that. So, do you have any suggestions that you could share with us?
As a member of the Equity Board, I feel like inclusion is a big thing, because even in the school that I go to, they've done a lot of things to like get Hispanics here and have them better assimilate, but they don't give them opportunities to show off their culture. And often they're like almost they're separated from us. We don't get to have classes with them. They don't know what it's like to be in a class with other people. And I feel like it's really challenging for them because then they don't know, like, not even just about classes, but about school events. I always try and advocate for them. I've gone up to multiple groups of people. I've told them, like, oh, come join our student council. And they're like, for what? How will that benefit me? They don't even care. So as you know, I've been advocating for the equity lead role so that I can take on more of a leadership position and help them really assimilate, like, to our school, to our events, feel included so that it's not just a separate line keeping them out.
Thank you. And now we are going to hear from some of the students at the Romney Marsh Academy and Susan B. Anthony.
So my name is Isabella Molina, and my mother's name is Cindy Molina. And the person that inspired me is her for the Hispanic Heritage Month, because thanks to her, I'm being humble and have been grateful what I have now, because thanks to her, I've been the person that I am now.
Hello, my name is Lucas Guerra, and a Hispanic who inspires me is Messi. He inspires me because every time I play, I try to replicate his play style, and I love the way he would try to dribble team, knowing when to dribble, knowing when to pass, and overall, as a kid growing up, I always try to replicate his play style.
Hi, my name is Snyder Rivas, and I picked my dad as my hero. Why I picked my dad as my hero? Because he's always there for me, he supports my dreams and more. He came to this country from El Salvador at 15 with no father or education. It was a difficult time for him. One of his dreams was to become a pro soccer player, but due to no education and no father, his dreams crashed down. Once he had me, he said, one day I will become a professional. Thanks to him, I'm playing in an academy. I thank him for his tips and drills. Without him, I would be lost. I love my dad and appreciate everything he does and gives me, and I love my dad so much.
Hi, my name is Dana Aguirre, and I'm from 6th grade, and I picked Shanice Palacios, the Miss Universe, all from 2023. So she inspired me because I consider her an example to follow. A Hispanic woman, originally from Nicaragua, who achieved her dream as a child and never saw that being of low resources was an obstacle to achieve what she so longed for, a Miss Universe 2023. And finally, I want to share a phrase that Shani says. Being grateful is essential to fully appreciate and enjoy life. All work dignifies, and when something seems impossible, is when more love and effort must be put into achieving it. Thank you.
What a powerful insights from these students. And now we are transitioning to the next question. People nowadays often use the terms Hispanic, Latino, Latinx. Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Can I hear a little bit more?
I mean, Hispanic, even in Latin America, Hispano, has been a terminology that has been put together by governments to identify people that speak Spanish. However, people who are from Spain, they are identified as Spaniards. Yeah. It's complicated, I know it is, but the term Hispanic was definitely put together by government entities to define the group of people who speak Spanish. Latino, it's people that come from Latin American countries, including Brazil, even though they don't speak Spanish. But they are, not all of the Brazilians identify as Latinos, but they are part of Latin America. Latinx, there has been so much talk about that, and I'm sure you're more familiar with that term, right? So the X replaces the O or the A at the end when we say Latino or Latina. And it's more of a new generational thing, and it's also as we also become more comfortable with the gender neutral definitions as we learn that language too, because I'm learning. So Latinx is now very popular to define gender neutral Latinos or Latinas. that's what I know. I'm not an expert, just an FYI, but that's the only thing I know about that. Yeah.
Well, I think you nailed it.
I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you did a good job.
Good.
You taught my lesson.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay. good
I
to
always
know.
use this month precisely to address the differences.
No, I think you did a good job. Yeah.
And I want to make this suggestion. Why do we exclude Brazil? When we talk about Hispanic Heritage Month, Brazil is excluded. And Brazil is, as you can see in the map, the largest Latin American country.
No doubt. Yeah.
And so we need to make an effort as Latinos to make sure that this not only Hispanics but also Latinos,
Correct.
and I think celebrate all of us. We come as a bouquet.
Yes.
All
yeah.
together.
I like the definition. Yeah.
And I totally agree. I've seen it written somewhere, Hispanic Latino, Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. But you're right, it's not widespread yet. Most of the literature I have reviewed basically talks about Hispanic Heritage Month. It's something that should be advocated for, and we should push for that. I agree completely, especially Brazil, of the size and the political weight that it has in the world, right? So the next question is, we have a lot of Latinos in this country that were able to, climb the ladder of mobility, I mean, get out there, become leaders, others running for Congress, musicians, actors, and so on and so forth. The question is, who are your Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx models?
I can speak for a couple who are local. And why are they my role models? Because they're the ones who paved the way for us. I mean, if you think about it, it's hard now. Can you imagine how it was back then, 30, 40 years ago? And Alberto Calvo, I don't know if many of you have met him. He's from Cuba. And he opened Compari. It's a supermarket that is in Chelsea. Many, many years ago. And why is that important? Because his food, his supermarket was for the Hispanic community that was moving to Chelsea. And he had to fight a lot to open a supermarket, but he understood that food is something that made people welcome and make them feel that they were at home. So for many people that may not be, a role model, for me, he is one, because he understood the importance of feeling comfortable through food, and that was huge. So now he's very successful, and he has another one in Lynn. Another person that I admire, and many of you know him, Alberto Vasallo Bano Jr. He's great. I love him. The father, right? He started the newspaper, Jamaica Plain. But why would you start a newspaper, a Hispanic newspaper? Because he knew the importance of making sure that people were getting the information, making sure that people were participating, that people were organizing through a newspaper, getting the information to register to vote, to participate, to learn everything that was available to them. So I do have deep admiration for everything they've done locally. So those are my two idols. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. That's a perfect segue to an important question, which is, do you think our country is ready for a Latino president? Are we ready for a Latino Hispanic president in this country?
I want to take that one because we are in an electoral year, month. Almost is right around the corner. I think that the power is in the numbers. We have millions. If you also include other experience of immigrants. However, besides the numbers, we also need to make inroads in the community, in the business community, in the media. So we are not in the places where those decisions are taken. How about the political parties? We also need to be there. So power is in the numbers, but numbers are not enough. We need to be right there where the decisions are taken. And so I am glad that you, for instance, are the vice chair of our school board, because that's where the decisions are made. That's where the voices of the community are heard. So that's a great example. We need to be there where the decisions are taken.
Agreed. And we need more people to become U.S. citizens so they can vote. That's also
Another one.
important. Right. So that concludes this afternoon's roundtable discussion. And I just want to thank you for joining this enriching conversation as we continue to celebrate the Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. Having so many voices and experiences around the table, expressing their perspectives, their challenges, and aspirations for the future is a tribute to the diverse tapestry of Hispanic culture, history, and contributions that have helped shape our country, our community, and humanity. Thank you for participating. Viva la cultura latina.
Viva!
That was amazing.
No se vayan, hay mucho más con mucha música y danzas.
Please don't leave. There's more to come, dances and a lot of culture.
Suenen las palmas que aquí llegamos, los caporales de San Simón. Vengan cantando, vengan bailando, gracia, alegría y corazón. Suenen las palmas que aquí llegamos, los caporales de San Simón.
comunidad. Hoy en este mes de la hispanidad estamos acá representando nuestra cultura y tenemos a Perú.
Marinera norteña.
Baila Perú.
Ñustas Perú.
El Salvador.
Colombia.
Jalisco, México.